My name is Oluwafolayimika Benson. I'm studying psychology and I'm from Nigeria. I take pictures, I'm taking classes, I try to do one or two jobs, you know, don't really do much. So I started in church, we all started in church. I used to do videography for church. And then somebody introduced me to taking pictures and then I saw I liked it. And then I bought my camera after studying it for I think 2 months. And then I started taking pictures of people in school, especially students. I'm mostly into outdoor portraits, and what drew me to that kind of photography is because it mostly has to do with natural light. I play with the sun, sometimes shadows. All those things tend to draw me closer to outdoor shoots. Mostly I take styles from other content creators and then I try to add my own in the shoots. Just tiny little details. Don't really think it shows that much. So when people text me, I usually ask them where they would like to use, and then before the shoots I usually go there probably a day before to check the locations, to see places. Sometimes ideas pop up to me, and sometimes I tell people to bring up their own ideas so it doesn't seem like I'm the only one, telling them to do this. But it's mostly about knowing where I want to do it, how, the time. I mostly do my shoots in the evening most times. So I use the Canon T3, and it's also the same thing as the 1100D, right? And I also use the 90mm macro because the quality is very, very nice. I used to use the kit lens, but I don't really like it. And then I also had the zoom lens, which was, I think, 80 to 300. But I mostly like the 90mm macro. It's very nice. Natural. Most of my shoots have mostly been outdoor shoots, mainly in the evening because there's this specific color of the sun, very distinctive yellow that I like. I don't take in the afternoons because it's too bright. I prefer in the evenings. That's how I like my pictures to be. Okay, so sometimes it depends on how they're dressed. If they're dressed a certain type of way, I would look for a certain area in that spot. So if we're looking for a location, we don't look for one specific spot. Sometimes I can use U of M as an example. When the person says, "Oh, I like to use U of M," I don't like to use one certain spot. We go to 3, 4 different spots depending on how they are dressed. So when I see the way they're dressed, I try to think of how I want the picture to go. Would this picture suit the way the person is dressed? So it has to rhyme with how the person is. Sometimes it's by personality. The person can be very happy. Most of my pictures seem very sad. I don't know, to me. People have been saying it, but I just try to make sure the person is portrayed more kind of emotionally with the picture. That's how I try to portray my pictures. Yes, I would say Winnipeg itself is challenging because, especially during winter, many people don't like taking pictures outside. And most of my pictures I like taking them outside. You hear people saying something like, "Oh, I'm feeling too cold. When are we going to be done?" I'm like, I feel like this is a win-win for two of us. So if the picture comes out nice, they tend to forget that all of a sudden they were complaining "Oh, it's too cold." Sometimes that thing makes me rush, and I don't like to rush when I'm taking pictures. It makes me agitated and take some decisions I don't really like. But sometimes I try to calm people down, "I promise you're gonna like this. I promise." I try to find a way to soothe them while also taking the pictures. Definitely. So I mostly use Lightroom. And if I'm done my shoot, sometimes I start my shoot by like 4, end by 6. And I have this thing where I don't sleep at night. So I mostly edit my pictures during the night from like 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. It's very, very funny, but that's how I, you know, edit my pictures, mostly at night. And then I try to do it under dim light so I can find the correct lighting on the picture. Like I turn off all my lights in the room and then try to work on it, especially. And I have presets that I also use. I have like a lot of presets for like different situations for different times. That's how I edit my pictures. So I don't think I've overcome it yet, but I would say I try to keep checking up on ideas, because if the moment I stop, I start to like distance myself from taking pictures. If I don't check content, if I don't see what people who are better than me do, I just tend to like have this gap. So most times I just keep checking on content, looking for ideas. Sometimes it drops. I don't usually like copying other people's style. I try to like implement it. So when it comes to creative blogs, I would say I don't really know if I've overcome it yet. I still have that problem. So like I said, most of my pictures have been taken in the evening time when the sun is setting. I have to like keep telling them, if they ask me what time am I free, I have to make it during the evening. Sometimes they start in the afternoon, and the pictures I take in the afternoon, I tend to discard it because it doesn't look that good to me. So I try to make sure my pictures are done in the evening, and then you see a certain type of yellow that comes from the sun. So if you check through most of my pictures have that specific yellow, and you see that it's consistent because we take it at a specific time during the day. Sometimes I try to be open-minded about it, so try to listen to what they're saying, like, okay, what is this person trying to say? I'm trying to see it from their perspective. Most times if I'm open-minded, I see what people say, and then I try to like implement it later on in my work. I might not do it immediately because sometimes it takes me some time to see what other people sees. So it will take some time before I actually, see what other people try to tell me. And when I'm doing my shoots, I tell people to give me, if I'm doing something they don't like give me an idea you want to see in your pictures, stuff like that. So it doesn't have to come from only me. I'll say the most rewarding moment is every time I click on the camera. I use a DSLR, so I mostly hear the feedback from when I click on the button. So that rewards me, and I like going outside, feeling the weather, Sometimes I even take the bus, so I tend to see other places, other ideas come up in my head for like the next shoot. So that's the most rewarding part. The photography mostly rewards me every time. Talk about the editing, being on site, taking pictures, trying to make the client laugh. Sometimes that's rewarding enough. I'd say you should start small. Don't try to, don't think if you don't have this certain equipment, you can't do what you want to do. And especially if you have an idea, don't keep it in. Try to put it out there. Somebody might like it. One person can lead to 2, can lead to 10. You don't know. Right now, I'm taking classes, but I have some people coming up, and I'm trying to see if I can do something with the winter, because I know it's going to be a lot of challenge for me, but I'll see how it goes. That's my next plan, to see if I can do something creative with the snow and see if I can make it work out while I'm also taking classes. For now, I do not have a website, but I have an IG account where I post most of my pictures, behind the scenes. Everything's on my IG.